Hey there, it's time for another Simmers Morning Skate. Rob Simpson with you for SeattleHockeyInsider.com, VancouverHockeyInsider.com, and other venues. And I'm here with the gloriously talented Cassie, Campbell, Pascall.
What's going on?
It's always good to see you. You're the best. You know that?
Well, I don't know about the best, but I have a lot of fun. It's good to see you. Nice to run into you last week in Seattle, and here we are. Here we are again.
Here we are. We have things to talk about. First of all, Seattle Kraken. I probably should have asked you permission for this, but on one of my stories, I took a little piece of your wedding photo with Dave Hackstall standing on the end, and you had mentioned on Hockey Night in Canada, maybe January, about you didn't think Seattle was going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to apologize for that.
No, I don't. I don't, but I felt I owed it to Hack and his family and also to the Seattle Kraken fans. Listen, I'll be honest with you, midway through the season, that wasn't a team I picked and was completely wrong. I thought Edmonton was going to slide up like they have. I thought Calgary was. Of course, they didn't. And so I showed it on Rogers Monday Night Hockey, a picture of my wedding picture, and Dave Hackstall was my husband's captain at the University of North Dakota. And I just said, hey, this is how unbiased I am, how ruthless I am. But even though he was in my wedding party, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And, of course, they proved me wrong. And it's great to see an expansion franchise. You know, we've seen Vegas do it, and now we're seeing Seattle do it. And I think it's really good for the league.
Unfortunate flip side to that, speaking of hubby and our pal Brad Treliving in Calgary, did not make the playoffs.
No, you know, obviously from a personal side of things too, right? Like you live with that at home as well. And, you know, it's just one of those seasons where they just really didn't deserve to get in, you know, based on the way they played throughout the entire 82 games. They couldn't seem to get it going. It seems a bit stale, the lineup, you know, the match, you know, new guys coming in and, you know, just matching the intensity, I guess, that Daryl was required of them. And it was a new coach. And it just a lot of things, I think, didn't click, and you know, goaltending was a bit of an issue early, and then all of a sudden Markstrom gets it going, but by that time it was a little bit too late. So, you know, to be honest with you, I look back at this season and they're a team that really didn't deserve to get in. I think they could have done some damage had they got in, but you got to play an 82-game regular season and you got to be consistent.
Cassie, let's bring up another non-playoff team. That'd be the Vancouver Canucks. Do you just have any general thoughts on it really just seemed like a long season, just went on and on and on. It was emotion here and there with Bruce Boudreau. You know, goaltending, Demko's hurt early. You can just go through the list.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think a lot of people in Vancouver are obviously disappointed for good reason, but I don't think the build is going to take as long as people are maybe thinking there. I think they've got some really good pieces. You know, Demko healthy, he's a great goaltender. You know, I'm going to say, you know, top 10 in the league for sure, and love what Elias has been doing, and JT Miller. Rick Tocchet coming in, I think he's demanded some accountability that for whatever reason didn't seem to be there before, and not to point fingers at Bruce Boudreau, but this group didn't seem to have it, and he seemed to bring it in, and I think adding Gonchar and Foote defensively, they've been better as well in front of their goaltender, which has helped, and I do think, you know, we haven't had a chance to really see Roenick in the lineup. We saw him, I think, 1 or 2 games, but I think he's going to be a really good piece. He's a bit more of a veteran guy, so it's not like a Jay Beagle or someone like that, but a bit more of a veteran guy, not just your entry-level contract kind of guys that you bring in from another team that haven't quite worked out. I think he's going to be a player for them, and I think Vancouver's going to really like him on the back end.
Looking forward to your telecast tonight. Season finale, of course, Seattle, and we'd have no idea who's playing who yet, so it's just crazy how it's come down to the end. One last thing, we were reminiscing about some games that you and I did together on Sportsnet last week, and we tried to remember the name of the goal scorer, 2015 CWHL Championship overtime winner for Boston.
Do you remember?
I looked it up.
Okay, who was it?
Janine Weber.
Oh my gosh,
Janine
yes,
Weber.
yeah.
Top shelf where Grandma keeps the bourbon.
Yeah.
And then our other, maybe our least memorable or most difficult was we had a first-time producer in a Montreal-Toronto game, and it came out of a Habs game that went to overtime, and the producer pulled the chute on the open, and we filled 13 minutes. Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, that's just how professional we are. You know, it's interesting. I'm watching Women's Worlds that's going on right now, and TSN has those rights. And, you know, I'm watching all my former teammates, and they've got a host and a panel show. And, you know, Cheryl Pounder's doing color, and Kenzie Lalonde's doing play-by-play. And back in the day, I used to do that. It was me and a host or a play-by-play guy like yourself, and we did the whole show. We did the intermissions, we did the interviews, and so times have changed, and it's great to see the coverage that's happening for Women's Worlds. And, you know, talking to some of the Vegas players today and some of the Seattle players, like, they're like, hey, what's going on at Women's Worlds? How's this player? How's this? Like, they know the game. They know the female game, and that's been really fun for me to see.
Very cool. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a good time.
We did have a good time. And by the way, that goal by Weber was in Brampton, the same place they're playing the Worlds. The incomparable Cassie, Campbell, Pascall, ladies and gentlemen. Simmer's morning skate, and we'll see you later.